The top 10 shortstops in Major League Baseball. Let's get into it.
You want odds or evens?
I'll take evens this time. I took number one last time.
Okay. Start with our honorable mentions. Our two honorable mentions are Willie Adames of the Milwaukee Brewers for now and Jeremy Pena of the Houston Astros. Willie Adames is a guy that has 30 homer potential every given year, and he is a solid defender at shortstop. If this guy gets moved to a contender, he immediately makes them better. That is the thing with Adames. I think he's going to get a really nice payday. Great for him to get out of Tampa when he did. I know the batting average was low, and I know the whiff was up last year, but man, Adames is a well-rounded cat. And then Pena, I think a lot of people got really excited after his rookie year, and understandably so. He won ALCS MVP, he won World Series MVP. He is an elite defensive shortstop. He's going to slug, but is he going to be that 120 WRC plus guy? I think the answer is no, which has him outside of the top 10.
Yeah, I had Jeremy Pena, I think at 11 or very close to the top 10. I don't even know if I ranked Willie Adames. I think Willie Adames is a pretty good player. I think he is the new barometer for shortstop play. If you're better than Willie Adames, you're a good shortstop. If you're worse than Willie Adames, you're a below average shortstop. And the reason I say that is the bat is not as good as I think, or at least we think, or when you think the name Willie Adames, you think 818 OPS, right, in 2021. You think potentially 887 OPS in 2021. Sorry, 818 OPS over the full season, 2021, 887 OPS with the Brewers. But the last two seasons, 756 OPS, 717 OPS. The power has still been there, right? Over the last two seasons, he has put up 55 home runs, but that's kind of it, right? I want my shortstop to not be a decent defender, which he has proved. No, he's a better defender. The numbers say he's a better defender,
He's a good
but
defender.
but he's been kind of a below average hitter. That's all I got on him. Like he's okay.
Yeah. Now, he is one of those guys that I love the counting numbers from. 2022, I thought was a good year for him because, yeah, he hit 240, but 30 homers, nearly 100 driven in, and he was playing top flight defense. That was a 4-win season from Adames. So it's when those numbers tick down and you're only hitting 220 and you're hardly getting on base at a 300 clip that I start to really get concerned.
And he's playing in a very, very hitter friendly environment.
Very hitter friendly ballpark. So these need to be a bit better.
That's why he's not in the top 10. And I would think Jeremy Pena would actually be closer because he's still all world defensively. And I think
Yeah.
just in year two, pitchers make adjustments. You struggle more offensively. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's too talented of a player. I'm going to put him kind of for the rest of his career around a 110, 115 WRC plus with all world defense. Like that's going to put you, not top five, but I think he could be around the 6 to 10 mark for the rest of the decade.
Yep. All right. Number 10.
Number 10. Number 10 shortstop in baseball is Carlos Correa of the Minnesota Twins. I personally ranked him seventh. The rest of just baseball ranked him a little bit lower. We know that he did not have a good season, right? Slash 230, 312, 399. That is not going to cut it. A WRC plus below 100? Come on, Correa. Must be better than this. A 1.1 F4? Are you kidding me? So I understand. You look at the regular season stats and you say, man, with the injuries of the past signing, what are we going to get from this guy? But then the playoffs hit 406 in the postseason. And I know it's not a large sample, but we do have a larger sample of him getting to the postseason. When the lights turn on, he turns into one of the best players in the sport. And that's valuable to me. What's also valuable is that he won the Platinum Glove Award as the best defender in the American League in 2022. I think we overreacted to one season. Now, we're going to see this year. Maybe these injuries pile up and he's just not the same player anymore. Right? The Mets, the Giants, maybe they made the right decision by not giving him an enormous contract. He does have a surgically repaired ankle, right? My belief is that he bounces back. Maybe not to the level that we've seen offensively during the regular season, but the fact that he was so good in the playoffs, the fact that I think when he was injured, he was not the defender he once was. I still think he can be at least close to that. So if he's 85th percentile of his level of defense and 85th percentile of what Correa's offense should be, which I think is a fair projection for him, I put him as the 7th best shortstop in baseball because that's what he would be. So I personally am not overreacting to one bad season because of what I saw in the playoffs. Now, you're a little bit higher on him. You also ranked him 9th, not 10th. What is your hesitancy with putting Correa a little bit higher?
He is a different player than he was when he was the belle of the ball in the free agent class going to 2022. In 2021, he played 1,300 innings at shortstop. He had 20 defensive runs saved. Since then, he's played about 2,200 innings at shortstop. He has a combined 1 defensive run saved. So he went from 20 in 1 year to 1 in the next 2.
Injury.
By outs above average? Yeah, sure. But like by outs above average, 11 outs above average in 2021. Since then, -4 outs above average in 2021. So much of the value that I placed in Carlos Correa was he's always going to hit. He's going to slug. He's that big bodied man. He's got the craziest arm I've ever seen at shortstop, and he can get to anything. Now he's not getting to anything.
I think that's fair, but has he earned enough for you to say, I want to see him in a healthier season? Because it's clear he has not been healthy the past 2 years, and he's played through it, which I do respect.
So, like, sure, but also he's 29. You know, like, and I know that's still on the right side of 30.
34.
Yeah, but 29 ain't 25.
29 is still in the prime, right?
My shit's starting to hurt, dude. I just turned 26 on Monday. Like, I'm hurting.
Yeah,
I'm in pain.
Yeah, but both of us are fat. And we talk about baseball on the side like we are in the major leagues.
I've been working on that. Don't call me fat, man. I have an apple a day. I'm trying to keep the doctor away.
All right, fair. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, these are professional baseball players. I'm sure at 29 years old, Carlos Correa is in some of the best shape of his life. I mean,
yeah, no.
Maybe I believe in him too much. And I used to be a Carlos Correa hater. And I can't believe right now I'm the positive. It's like when we were talking about Correa being 1 or 2, I was like, come on, he's not that. He's like 4. But then he has one bad year, and it's like, all right, now he's out of the top 10, like a lot of other analysts on our panel. I mean, come on, that's too much.
This is a what have you done for me lately game, and
but
unfortunately,
isn't like that. Like
it is.
It's like these guys have earned spots. Carlos Correa's earned spots, and he's still in the top 10. That's why I'm not freaking out. Like, I even thought I was like, 7. I'm a little bit low on him. I wonder what everybody else does. And then I go to our meeting. And everyone's like, yeah, he's not on my top 10. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Whatever. We'll get to number 9.
Whatever. Number 9, as I pull up the article,
First
by
of
the
all,
way.
Before you say number 9, for everybody listening, tell me that number 9 is better than number 10. You can't, unless you're a Seattle Mariners fan.
For 2024. For 2024. Great article by Tim Kelly. Go read it on justbaseball.com. Number 9 is J.P. Crawford with the Seattle Mariners. 29-year-old J.P. Crawford, much like Carlos Correa. Last year, Carlos Correa had a 96 WRC plus and a 1.1 WAR. J.P. Crawford had a 134 WRC plus.
He did it once.
And a 4.9 win season. He was 5 times better when it comes to F4. Peter's doing the car.
He must be number 1 for you.
He's doing the car dealership thing. He played all the time, 640 plate appearances. He hit 260, had 19 homers. Advanced metrics had him graded out as a negative defender, -3 DRS, -8 outs above average. He is a guy that has transformed the narrative around him offensively, and last year was a huge part of that. I think with the protection that Seattle has given him and the fact that he is not the focal point, how Julio is the focal point, and then he's somewhere sandwiched between Julio and Cal Raleigh and Ty France. I think this guy's due for another good year, man. I actually had him as like the low guy. I was 12 for him, but Aram had him at 7. Ryan Finkelstein had him at 8. Colby had him at 8. He's good, man.
No, no, I mean, you're not trying to prove that you would rather have Correa than JP Crawford because you and I are kind of on the same page, right? You had JP Crawford at 12
Yeah.
and you had Correa at 9, so I'm not going to yell at you about it. I had him at 10 and
But here you are yelling at me.
well, because who nobody else is on the podcast right now. I
Yeah,
wish
sorry.
Fraudum Aram Layton was on the podcast. I mean, he ranked JP Crawford 7 and Correa 11. No wonder he's not on any of these top 10s. He doesn't want my wrath. No, I mean, I'm making fun of JP Crawford because we're comparing him to Carlos Correa. JP Crawford is a great player. He had a great offensive season, a 134 WRC plus. Are you fucking kidding? That is awesome. Awesome year. 4.9 F4, one of the tops among shortstops in Major League Baseball. But he's only done it once and was on the backs of a 380 OBP, which is amazing. But this guy's 344 OBP for his career when you put in the 380 year. He's mostly around the 340-ish range and most likely clocking it at a 700 OPS. But then he puts up an 818 OPS this year, walks 94 times. Now, if this is the norm now for Crawford, sure, I'll put him higher on the top 10. I put him 10 right now because I believe that some of it's there. Now, there's some expected metrics that expect him to regress offensively, but not by a lot. So I understand, but this is too high, especially for a guy who wasn't great defensively. Like if he was also all world defensively, okay, we're having another discussion, but we aren't. It was worse defensively than Correa. Like, let's be real here. But again, you and I ranked him lower than everybody else. So I really want to talk to Arm the next time we're on the show, but he's good. I like JP Crawford. He's a good overall
He's
player.
good.
I mean, I don't know how, like he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah. Hey, did I put our number 8 guy number 1 or did I put him number 7? What's the word here?
The number 8 shortstop in Major League Baseball is Dansby Swanson of the Chicago Cubs. Turns 30 in February, coming off just another all-world defensive season, putting him at a 4.9 F4 since 2022. Since 2022, he is second among shortstops in F4. Why? Because he is a notch below Andrelton Simmons when we're talking about defense over the past few seasons. He's just unbelievable over there at shortstop. And the bat, he can still swing it, right? Power is his game, consistently above 20 home runs, put up 22 last year, 244, 328, 416 slash line. So he's not spraying the ball in terms of doubles, but the ball is leaving the ballpark. It gives you 9 steals, above average hitter by WRC plus, clocking in at 104. But the defense is the calling card. And at a position that pride's defense, he is the guy, maybe outside of Francisco Lindor, who we're going to talk about later, but that's the mold defense with Dansby Swanson.
I love war.
I know you
I
do.
love it.
I know you do.
Uh,
But now you choose not to like it.
he was a 5-win player because he was a 104 WRC plus guy. You know that the war is always going to be good. And the Cubs signed him for I think it was 175. Yeah, 7 for 175.
177.
Oh, 7 for 177. Okay. So they signed Dansby because they knew they were going to get 15 to 20 homers a year and elite defense. They got 22 homers this year and elite defense, and he played all the time. So I think what he just gave them is what was expected. Will he ever replicate his 2022 season? I don't know. Probably not, but that's okay because it's very similar to the Ke'Bryan Hayes extension that Pittsburgh gave out. You know you're getting the value in the glove. And everything on top of league average at the plate is just bonus. And they got 4% bonus from him with the 104 WRC plus.
So do you remember last year when most publications were trashing the Dansby deal? Like it was way too much money. I think on this podcast we were fine with it. I was actually totally fine with it because everyone was acting like that was just some out of the off type season.
Everyone thought that they were paying him for a fever dream contract year. And that's just not what happened.
No,
the Padres paid Bogarts like that. If he got 250, we'd been like, oh, that's way too much. But he got 177. He got less than $100 million or $100 million less than Xander Bogaerts.
And the reason I liked the contract so much, I was thinking to myself, If he's average offensively, we're looking at a 4-win season.
Yes.
He was slightly above average, put up a 4.9. That's what we
Yes.
can expect from him. A 5-win player is worth that type of deal and then some. If he keeps doing this, he'll be worth 200 million, especially in this market. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Turns 30 in February, so he's not a young chicken, but again, he's not old. He's going to keep playing superb defense. Him and Nico Horner, I talked about in the previous show. I mean, they're just box
crazy.
office playing defense. I mean, the guy had 285. Or no, he didn't. He had 244. I was looking at number 7. Still good offensive piece, great at defense. Cubs should be happy with the deal. If Cubs fans, if anybody ever tells you the deal was stupid, you tag me. I got him.
I just shit on number 7, but number 7 on this list is Xander Bogaerts of the San Diego Padres. And you were the high guy on Xander. You had him in the 5 spot. I had him in the 8 spot. Aram and Fink had him in the 9 spot. Leo and Colby had him in the 7. Xander Bogaerts last year played pretty much the entirety of the year, 670 plate appearances, hit 285, like you mentioned, slugged 440, 19 homers, a bunch of doubles. I was not expecting 20 bags from this guy, but 19 stolen bases, a 120 WRC plus, and he was a 4.5 win player in large part because he was average defensively at shortstop. Is he the right option at short over a guy like Ha-Seong Kim? I don't know. I don't think so. Personally, I think Kim can be a way better defender at short than Bogaerts can, but they signed him to be a shortstop, and he was a damn good one and a top 10 shortstop in baseball at that last year. They paid him too much. Yeah, they paid him far beyond the age that he should be paid at. Yes, for sure. All of that can be true. But the other thing that can be true is this is one of the better offensive shortstops in the game, and he will always be a threat to lead baseball in doubles. Always.
We act like he's some idiot on defense. He's not a bad defender by any stretch of the imagination.
He used to be. He used to have a bunch of red flags, but he's gotten better. People can change.
I put him at number 5. First of all, this is from the article, which you definitely should go follow along. We linked it in the episode description. Since the start of the 2021 season, Bogaerts is top 5 among all shortstops in batting average, OBP, hits, doubles, runs scored, walks, and F-WAR. Since 2019, I'm going to walk you through the WAR totals. 5.9 in 2019, 4.4 in 2018, 4.3 in 2021, a 6 F-WAR in 2022. And with a wrist injury that he was dealing with for a lot of the season, put up a 4.4 F-WAR. Did we forget? I think everybody's so excited to put all the new guys in front and just say to themselves, look at Gunnar, look at Bobby Witt, look at this season they just had. Guys, Bogaerts in a down year when injured put up a 120 WRC plus and almost won 2020. That's a down year for him. Xander Bogaerts got paid for a reason. Yeah, 280 million is a lot. 250, right? He is one of the better shortstops in the game and can still play a good defensive shortstop. I don't understand people just forgetting. You put him at 8. It's a little bit low for my standards. I still think he's top 5. I don't understand what he did last year, right? We put him in the top 5 last year. What did he do last year to make you think, oh, yeah, now it's getting towards the end here? I understand you could say, well, we have some newcomers. Can we give them another season to prove? Bogaerts has been doing what Gunnar Henderson has been doing for the past 5 years, every year. And now because Gunnar does it once, he's ahead? Come on.
It's for 2024,
I
man.
understand, but it's like some of these guys, y'all, in my opinion, and this is how I do lists. Everyone does them differently. That's why they're all awesome. And that's why we aggregate them together to get a full rank. I give the guys who have done it year over year a bump. Because if I'm projecting for 2024, I have 5 years of data of one guy doing this same exact thing as one guy did in 1 year. Do I think, based on what I saw, that he could be better? Of course I can. But what's safer? What do we know? We know Xander Bogaerts, as long as he's healthy, is probably going to give you a 5-win season. Gunnar, look what just happened to Jeremy Pena. We ranked him so high, and
That's
then
not
he
fair.
turns in a bad.
That's not fair.
Season.
Gunnar is in
Gunner's
a different
better than Jeremy
league.
Pena.
In
Not
a
even
different
that much of a
league
different league.
offensively.
From what Jeremy Pena did in 2022, not that much better.
Dude, he had 28 homers.
I'm looking up Jeremy Pena stats from hold on. Keep going.
Okay. All right. I mean, you gotta present Gunner anyways, because he's an even, but
I will.
man, like
Jeremy
what do
Pena.
you
Jeremy Pena hit 22 bombs.
okay. Gunner had 28. WRC plus for Pena.
102.
123. All right. F4 for Pena.
3.4.
4.6 for Gunner. Like, we
Yeah,
can't do
Gunner's
this.
better, but then to just put him above Xander is crazy.
Dude, like do the Gunner thing and I'll make my case.
Okay. And what stinks is I love Gunner. Like I'm not, we're splitting hairs here, but this is the
Bro,
fun of
you
the argument.
hate Gunner.
I love Gunner. I love him so much. All right, let's talk about Gunner Henderson. So at number 6 on our top 10 shortstop list, Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles. Kid's 22. He did put up a 123 WRC plus, 4.6 F4, 28 bombs, 10 steals, 489 slug. Took him a little bit while to get going. But then once he did, he was one of the best shortstops in all of Major League Baseball. And he was playing a little bit of third, a little bit of short, but he really is a shortstop. And yeah, he is a shortstop. 10 defensive runs saved over the 2023 season. I mean, this guy could win an MVP one day. The thing is, he's 22 and has only done it once, right? Are we going to get adjustments from pitchers in year 2? I think so. If he puts up a worse season in 2024, I will not be surprised at all. Now, if he puts up an amazing season, he's that talented, I also wouldn't be surprised. But am I a criminal for wanting to see more from a 22-year-old?
No, you're not a criminal for wanting to see more from a 22-year-old, but how can you not be amped with what Gunner did after he really struggled the first 2 months of 2023?
So amped. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, but
Better
that's the
than
thing.
Bogarts?
If he had a consistently amazing season month by month,
It wouldn't have mattered to me, personally, if we were ranking. If he never
so
struggled out of the gate and
for
was
me, it would have mattered. The fact that he struggled out of the gate for 2 months and still put up a 4.5 win season and still had a 123 WRC plus and still flirted with 30 homers, man, like, and the fact that he is a good defender, 10 defensive runs saved at shortstop,
yeah,
it helps him big time. But dude, like the fact that he came out the other side and still was the unanimous rookie of the year. I think it's more likely that Gunner wins an MVP than falls off this list.
Yeah, that could happen. He's got that level of talent. I mean, I ranked him 8th for everybody listening. Like the rest of us, Jack, you ranked him 6, Arm ranked him 5, Fink ranked him 7, Leo ranked him 4,
Leo
Colby
ranked him
ranked him
4.
5. So no, I get it, and I'm not trying to tear him down. I think he's going to be an awesome player. Do you want to make a bet?
Who else did we just bet on? We just bet on somebody last Friday, right?
Yeah, we have to go back and listen to it. I just say you want to bet. I got to write him down. I'm writing this one down. Higher F4, Bogarts or Gunner?
Gunner Henderson, no question in my mind. Okay.
Okay.
Shake.
No, like
Shake via YouTube.
like I think you definitely have the upside, and I think a lot of people would side with you. I just think that we forget. We're forgetting that Bogarts, with an injury, Bogarts almost got there. With an injury. Like, let's not forget who this man is. And he's playing in playing at Petco. It's so hard to hit there. Gunner, at least he has a short right field compared to left field for righties in Camden.
Man, I'm so excited for this one. This is going to be great. All right, number 5. Let's get into the top 5.
I'm gonna write it down while you're
Write it down. Yeah, write it down. I've got Gunner Henderson to have a higher WAR than Xander Bogaerts this coming year. I'm so excited for that. Okay, number 5, Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays. He turns 26 years old in a month. Bo Bichette had a 306, 339, 475 slash line. Hit 300, 20 homers, 73 driven in. He was a 3.8 F4, a 125 WRC plus. Defense going to dock him, of course. But like, dude, don't really care. Bo Bichette, the past 3 years, has led the American League in hits, and then put up a 300 batting average. 29 homers, 24 homers, 20 homers in 135 games. He played 159 the previous 2 years. He At 43 doubles in 2022. He had 30 doubles in 23. And this guy, man, he is as electrifying as they come offensively. I know you love Bo Bichette. Um, I was a little shocked that the stolen bases disappeared in the way they did. I know he was dealing with an injury throughout the majority of the year. If the stolen bases are back, this guy should be a consensus top five shortstop in the game.
Reason they stopped is because are you going to steal when you know Vladdy's going to hit a ground ball? I mean, like, no, I mean, this Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you expect him to hit bombs. Like, he doesn't need to steal. No, but he's got the speed to do it, and it could have been injury related. I'm more making that up because, like, I assume it was that reason. Um, Second best bat on this list. Full stop, period.
Hmm.
Second best bat on this list. And yeah, he's not a good defender. I personally ranked him fourth. Yeah, I ranked him fourth. I'm a big Bo Bichette guy, as the listeners of the Just Baseball show now. Tried to rank him higher, but the defense is but it's getting better, which I appreciate. I know he's been working on it because that's the only bugaboo in his game. Second best bat on this list. It's a special bat. It's a Hall of Fame accumulator of stats type of bat. I think he get to 3,000 hits.
Okay, so I disagree when you say second best bat on this list.
Who's a better bat than him on this
Lindor.
list? Besides,
I think Lindor is a better bat.
I don't think so. I'll take Bichette's bat for sure. Lindor doesn't put up the offensive stats that Bo Bichette does. When's the last time Lindor hit 06?
He had a 30-30 season last year.
Yeah, but I'm not counting stolen bases as part of the bat.
Oh, a better offensive profile. Okay, I think Lindor is a better offensive profile than Bichette. Lindor hit 301 in 2016. That was his only time over that
that was
mark.
Like 8 years ago.
I mean, Trey Turner, you don't think Trey's a better bat?
No, I think Bichette's a better bat. I think Trey Turner is a better offensive profile because he's going to steal all those bags. But in terms of just when the guy is at the plate, Bo Bichette is a better hitter than everybody on this list, not named the World Series MVP, arguably a top 5 player in the game, and Corey Seager.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go to war with anybody on that.
Dude, tough.
Does all it every year.
I guess I was calling it offensive profile and not just what you do in the batter's box. I think Trey and Bichette are a toss-up in terms of what they do in the batter's box. But in terms of offensive profile, I'm taking Lindor, Trey, and Bobby Witt.
I mean, Bobby Witt's still 115 WRC plus guy. Like, everybody's freaking out about the vote.
Yeah, he stole 50 bags.
Yeah, that's awesome. But, like, I think Bo Bichette's a better bat than all of them.
All right, present us number 4.
Number 4 on the top 10 shortstop list is Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals. Shout out Bobby Witt Jr. for signing a near $300 million deal, and for good reason. 30 bombs, 5.7 FWAR, a 115 WRC plus. Now, in defensive runs saved, he didn't grade out well, -6, but 14 outs above average because of the speed he can get to any ball on the diamond. 96 RBIs. I know RBIs aren't the biggest deal in the world, but the fact that he had 96 hitting towards the top of the lineup for the Royals, dude is a run producer. 495 slug, does everything that you need on the diamond. And that's why the Royals gave him a freaking bag. That's why Patrick Mahomes is retweeting him getting a bag. Because you know Patrick Mahomes is a part-time owner of the Royals?
Yes.
I learned that recently. But that has nothing to do with Bobby Witt Jr. So, again, from the article, among AL position players / DHs, the only players who topped at 5.7 FWAR that Witt posted last year, Shohei Ohtani, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Julio Rodriguez. Dude's a superstar.
He absolutely is. A billion stolen bases. 54. Guy went 30-50 last year. Or no, 49. Sorry. He was one stolen base away from 30-50. I'm such a dick, man. The defensive change has been insane. And it might be because he's not splitting his time between short and third. He might have just taken a year to get comfortable to major league speed, whatever it was.
He's so talented, just a full offseason of work at
Maybe.
one position probably did him wonders.
Whatever it was, he was a good to great defender in the minor leagues. He was a very bad defender in the major leagues in 2022. And in 2023, he went back to a great defender. And it's shortstop at a premium position. His bat is so unique. He's so strong. His arms are more defined than a kid that young should have arms. Like 23 years old, 23-year-old's arms should not look like that. Right guy to sign. I love that they gave him that bag, and I love that he's going to be a Royal probably for the rest of his life.
Do you remember the conversation we had at the WBC about Bobby Witt?
No.
We were sitting there watching him pitch
Oh,
batting
yes.
practice. Yeah. And we were all talking to each other, thinking to ourselves, the
Hey.
Zoom update. I think, and we all thought this when we were sitting there, that him being around that clubhouse, like as that one young guy, was going to do wonders for him this year. I didn't think it'd be this type of wonders, but we all thought he would have a great year, right? Last year, I mean, this was a 98 WRC plus guy. Now he he's 20 bombs and 30 bags in his first year, so we know the talent, right? We know it, but the fact that he doesn't walk at all, like 319 OBP, didn't even slug 500. Like, I think there's so much more in there. I think he's going to be amazing, but you can call me stupid, you can call me whatever you want, but you can't call me inconsistent. I ranked him sixth. A lot of people are going to have a fit over that. Can I see it again? Can I see it again? Can I see this again? And a 115 WRC plus. It takes everything into account. It's park adjusted. Everything. That's why it's our favorite hitter stat. 115? 15% above league average? The counting stats are gaudy. And he's great. And I even put him at 6, which is a lot higher than I put a lot of young guys. But that's a 115 WRC plus. I think he's great.
Yeah, he was 5.5
Deserves
win
the money.
player.
I'd give him a ton of money. He's great defensively. I'd still take Bogarts. I still would. Bogarts put up a 6-win season in 2022.
Can I double down? Can I double down?
Sure. Well,
Gunnar
Witt,
and Bobby Witt with a higher WAR than Xander Bogaerts.
Witt, you might be right.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be right with
I'll
Gunnar.
stick to my guns. I'm sticking with the guy who put up Xander in 2022 put up a 6-win season. It's better than Bobby did last year.
I'm
1
doubling
year
down
ago.
right now. I'm
Sure.
doubling down.
I put it down.
Xander and Bobby Witt.
If Xander finishes with a higher WRC plus than, or higher F4 than both of them, what do I get?
I kiss. What do you want?
All right, we'll kiss.
Yes. Number 3 is Trey Turner of the Philadelphia Phillies. 30-year-old Trey Turner. You want to talk about track record? This guy has track record out the ass. He had a batting title 2 years ago. He signs a $300 million deal with the Phillies. And guess what? They booed him, and then they cheered for him. And then he put up a 4-win season. Trey does not grade out as a good defensive shortstop. And frankly, you can watch him and say, like, yeah, this guy makes a lot of mistakes. But at the end of the day, he is always going to contend for a batting title. 266 was a bad year from him. And the fact that in his quote unquote bad first year in Philly, this guy had 26 homers and 30 stolen bases in how many attempts, Peter? Do you have that in front of you?
How many attempts?
30 stolen bases in
30 stolen bases in 30 attempts.
He's 30 for 30 in the stolen base department. This guy is as fun a watch as we have in Major League Baseball because of how well-rounded his game is. This guy over 162 in his career, his 162 average, sitting 296 with an 830 OPS, 36 doubles, 24 homers, and 42 stolen bases. He is amazing. He's fun, and he's the perfect Philadelphia Philly.
Yeah, he deserves $300 million. I like how you said, like, yes, you look at Trey Turner's overall year, right? Still put up 26 and 30 in terms of home runs and stolen bases, but a 108 WRC plus and a 3.8 F4, you're like, yeah, it's not the Trey Turner we're used to. However, we have to add context, right? First year in a new market with a $300 million deal. It's a lot of pressure. And he really struggled early on, right? In April, 657 OPS. In May, 625 OPS. That is not Trey Turner. Obviously, there was a lot of adjustments and stuff to make. But then Phillies fans, shout out the bank. came to his aid and said, "You are our guy. Do not forget this." Now, some other fan bases, like mine, the Yankees, would boo him out of the building. And a lot of Phillies fans, they boo relentlessly, but not this guy. They all stood up and they gave him a standing ovation. And what did he do in the second half? 902 OPS slash 292, 348, 554 slug. That's Trey Turner. And that's the Trey Turner we should expect in year two. Due to still box office, due to still top three. And yeah, it is a toss up between Trey Turner and Bichette, I think, for the best hitters on this list, besides, of course, Corey Seager. But what separates the two below him is that they're also incredible hitters, but the defense is just all world. So that's why he comes in at 3. But in terms of just the bat with the stolen bases, he's one of the best players in Major League Baseball.
He's amazing. And I don't know. There's something about the way he's been playing for pretty much his entire career where I'm like, I hold him almost in a different light than the rest of the shortstop position because it's like, oh man, like, well, Trey Turner's my favorite watch, so I got to discount him. Lindor is a great watch, but there's something about Turner and like the slides, even the
Oh,
slides,
yeah.
and I know that he like commits a bunch of errors defensively, but the way he fields his position, like everything is just aesthetically beautiful. He's the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch in baseball.
Agreed, but he's also the worst at routine ground balls at shortstop I think I've
Oh,
seen on
brutal.
this list. I mean, this
Brutal.
is it's the playoffs. It's right to him. It's not like, oh, that might have been a tough play. It's like, nope. He just
No.
booted an 88-mile-an-hour exit velo right to him. I don't know how. Whatever.
It's hard, man.
It's hard. It is hard. Like
Baseball's
we make
hard.
fun of it, but it is hard. No, Trey Turner's the man, but he ain't number 2.
Yeah.
And a number 2 on the top 10 shortstop list, who else but Frankie Lindor of the New York Mets? All world. Once again, I bet on him to win MVP this season. He didn't win MVP, but he finished pretty darn close considering the odds. 31 home runs, 31 steals, a 121 WRC plus, a 6-win season. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, and he comes in at number 2 on this list. And even, in the year the Mets had from hell, he was not to blame. A 6-win season? That's what Bogarts put up in 2022, Jack. Right? You love Lindor, right? Great defense. All right, let's continue. Lindor is a superstar. And I don't really have much other to say than he has no weaknesses on the field. One of the best defenders. He's got plenty of power. He walks enough for it to matter. He's a great base runner. He's a 5-tool player. 5-tool player at the shortstop position. Point blank, period. That's all the analysis you need. Number 2.
He put up maybe the sneakiest 30-30 season we've ever had. And I know that the stolen base numbers are elevated because of I think the pickoff restrictions more so than the bigger bases. I know a lot of people
Because
wanted to
he's
point to the
smart as
bigger bases.
shit. Like
He's so smart.
when
And
you're
it's
that good of a baseball player, him and Trey Turner, like they could just steal 30 on that many attempts because they're so smart out there.
yeah. So it was so under the radar, especially with the Mets' disappointment. Lindor is year in, year out, a top 3 shortstop in baseball. And this year just happened to place him at number 2. But number 1 is different planet than everybody else. This guy finished second in American League MVP voting in 119 games. Was there any doubt? Corey Seager, the Texas Rangers, is the best shortstop in baseball. And folks, it ain't that close right now.
No.
536 plate appearances. This cat hit 327 with 33 homers, 96 driven in, a 169 WRC plus, and 6.1 F4 in 119 games. He had a better WAR than Francisco Lindor in 150 fewer plate appearances. This guy's on a different level, a World Series MVP. He's comfortable in Texas. And man, now that Ohtani's in the National League, is he going to come in at shortest odds or lowest odds, right? Is he going to come in at the shortest odds for American League MVP?
I would have to go check.
I would assume yes. Off the dome, I assume yes.
Yeah, let me check BetMGM. Um, read through. Oh hold on, while I'm pulling this up. 858 OPS career in the playoffs too, which is
Yeah.
just why I freaking love him. Um, I can't find MVP yet. Whatever, we'll find it later. He's got to be up there with, anybody. Where it's got to be. Hold
I'm
on,
just going to do the classic Google.
classic Google. Um, but so I called one of my buddies, Dustin, and we always talk about my top 100 players list. And I called him and I said, "Is it crazy to rank Corey Seager as the second best player in Major League Baseball to Ohtani?" And he was like, "No, no, of course it's not." And I was like, "Well, what about Acuna?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What about Mookie? What about Judge?" And he was like, "All right, put Acuna third and Seager third." That's how good of a player this guy is. He's far and away the best player in the playoffs. It seemed like in any round, right? I mean, Harper at one point, but Seager did it until the last game of the season. Harper struggled a little bit against the D-backs to Harper's standards. And Harper gets the allure, right? He's got the aura. He's got the beard. He's got the swing. But Seager has been as productive. He's just quieter. Also, shout out Corey Seager. We saw him at the golf tournament. One of the most handsome people I've ever seen in my life. When I first looked at him, I was like, holy shit, you're an Adonis. I think you're glowing. But on the field, that's exactly what he does. He glows. He glides across the field, and he's not one of these guys where it's like, oh, it's just the bat. Nope, 5 defensive runs saved. He's a big guy, so it doesn't quite look as smooth as a Lindor, but he gets to every ball.
Yeah. I've got him at fourth in AL MVP odds right now. I've got Judge at plus 550,
Okay.
Soto at plus 600. Forgot Soto was in the American
No,
League now.
it's the Yankee tax.
Yeah. Jordan Alvarez at plus 800, and then Corey Seager at plus 1,000.
I think the only reason that Seager's a little bit lower, and he is a good bet for to win MVP, it's just the availability, right? 119 games.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's so damn good that he almost won it while playing 119 games. If we get 130 out of him, he's as good a bet as anybody. The problem is, so is Judge. Same thing with him. And Judge, I think, personally is a better player than Corey Seager. But maybe he's not, because what has Judge done in the playoffs? Which I factor in. And you could say, well, Peter, you can, right? Guys get more opportunities now. In baseball, I think it's different. Some guys show up for the big moments, and Corey Seager is that dude. He's that dude. So at the lowest, I'd put him top 5. And when I put out my top 100, you're going to see him in the top 5. And I just love that I just shove it down you and arms throats when we were arguing about who's better, Seager or Correa. And now look at me. Now look at
at
me.
you, man.
Now look at me, folks.
You're a
on the Just Baseball
superstar, man.
Show. Woo!
You're so hot, man.
Woo! I've been waiting for years to do that little pat myself on the back, and I'm fucking doing it.
I love
Corey
it.
Seager versus Carlos Correa. You guys didn't even rank him in the top 10.
Just plug the merch, bro.
That was the top 10 shortstops. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Jack is completely off the screen. It's my show now. Shout out me. Shout out you. You, the people in the comments, I saw you agreeing with me. It's our victory lap time. Good for, and now look at him putting on the Just Baseball merch. Go get yourself some Just Baseball merch. It is in the episode description. And if you enjoyed the show, subscribe on YouTube. I mean, come on. Or leave a 5-star written review on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back on Friday. College baseball preview. College baseball opening day is on Friday. We're bringing on our guy, Pete Flaherty. So be on the lookout for that. College baseball preview on Friday. Then we're right back to the top 10s. Hopefully everybody has a great couple of days before we see you again. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple. And with that, thank you, everybody.